Howdy, this is the Rusted Knight, and as part of episode 3, I wanted to share a story that I had heard or experienced, actually right here in my neighborhood. One day coming home, I saw 3 sheriff's vehicles down the street from my house. This is very unusual, as you might see one or maybe an ambulance or a fire engine. However, 3 sheriff's vehicles instantly caught my attention. It was odd. I asked my neighbor, Junior, who I understood knew Johnny, whose house the officers were parked outside of. Junior said in a text to me, after I had asked him, "No, Johnny isn't okay. I went down there a little while ago. He's really pale and arrogant. I think he's abusing pain pills." I then thanked Junior for the update and said goodnight. I knew Johnny from a funeral that I had attended months before where Junior introduced us to each other. Johnny shared that his life was racked with miserable pain from his time in work and everyday wear and tear from life and being a working class citizen. The day after Junior told me in the text messaging about Johnny and his abuse of pills, I drove down to Johnny's house to check in on him, as I had been to his house before and visited one time. Johnny is probably around 70 or 80 years old. His arms were covered in bruises. As he's old, and that tends to happen, skin just gets thinner and breaks easier, and bruises just are all over older folks' arms. So it's kind of a normal thing. His former wife, Dina, was there, and she explained to me while Johnny ate Popeye's chicken that Johnny recently fell and shattered his elbow and had to get surgery with metal screws and, plates to correct it. Dina told me that though they are divorced, she still acts as sort of caregiver to Johnny. I thought that was incredible and wonderfully kind of her to sacrifice for him, as that is so essential for a hurting person to have someone they can depend on in multiple facets. They sent Johnny home on a painkiller, and Dina said for his post-operative recovery pain management plan, this is what he was taking. At one point, he took a double dose as he forgot that he'd already taken one of his doses. I shared the medicine phone application information with Johnny and his ex-wife that I use to remember my doses. It helps to keep these issues in check so that I don't overdo anything. As I sat with him talking, Johnny explained he was on the phone with People's Choice, an insurance company like Medicare, from my understanding of it. Near the end of the call, with Johnny talking to People's Choice, the representative asked if he needed anything else, and he answered, a bullet. This must have been because his pain was so bad he had no hope left. And I could see it when he was explaining the story. You know, whenever you deal with chronic pain, I've witnessed it firsthand many times in family members. I've walked up to complete strangers, and I knew the grimace that I was seeing on their face. And I ask how they're doing, because I know what a pain face is. It's that same old grimace, and I know I make them a lot. And I have to explain to people, because they'll ask me, what are your faces about? Why do you do that out of nowhere? You're just making faces. Like, are you mad at us or something? And I'll tell them, no, it's just being in pain, not being in comfort. You tend to make faces. I do. Maybe some other people out there are stoic statues and they never express themselves, but you're pretty much going to see how I'm feeling on my face, unless there's some specific situation I'm trying to hide it, which I doubt, because when my pain is loud, there's no other voice that's going to shut up my pain. It's just the way it is. I'm going to react, and it's going to be clear. Anyway, back to Dina and Johnny. I was sitting there talking with him, and Johnny explained when I'd met with Johnny before this visit, I knew he already dealt with multiple body issues like his back hurting, which he shared with me at the funeral I'd met him a while ago at. He began weeping while he ate his chicken because he said he missed cooking for his family. It was this angry, weeping sob. I could tell that was familiar frustration that he couldn't operate like he used to. Be a normal man and have a normal everyday life with his family and be a productive citizen. I understood that instantly, and I felt for him. I knew what those tears were and what his longing for normalcy was. It angered me and filled me with sympathy for him at the same time, because I too deal with the very same feelings. my heart instantly went out to him because I know where he was at and what he was feeling. It's so frustrating to not have that level of normalcy whenever you're used to being active and it gets taken away and your life becomes perpetual physical therapy and medicine and whatever there is to be able to fix the issue. And you get so passionate about it. If you're alone or you're with people or you're isolating, I don't know, I'm an expressional person. If I'm feeling something, people around me are going to know it. I try not to take it out on people, but sometimes it's difficult. I mean, I love people. They really give me joy, and I get excited to be around people. I've always loved my coworkers. Work becomes a joy because I get to go to work and hang out with them. Working, of course, but there's something about it that there's an exchange, there's interpersonal skills that go on, and it makes it enjoyable to come to work and see people. But pain changes all of that. Sometimes pain doesn't allow you to work, period. I asked if I could pray for Johnny, which he and Dina allowed. On my way home, I was telling God, all I can do is ask for your help. Please help. If you don't do something, Johnny could very well die and lose his life because his hope had been or has been obliterated. This is what pain does. Like I said in the last episode, you can't walk up to people like Johnny and say, tough it out. You have to sit down and shut up and listen instead of running your mouth about how you can fix it with quick, empty words and instructions on something you have no idea about. People who hurt need others. I've received phone calls just to come over and be with people who are hurting. They just need someone to comfort them because either the pain won't allow them comfort, the medicine always has its limits, or they just need someone who knows what it is to suffer and burn in constant pressure that chronic pain affords or gives. So often, I'll get in touch with people. They didn't sleep, and we'll sit down and we'll talk, and I can hear the exhaustion in their voice. And just being there and talking to them, giving them a chance to vent and talk about the pain means the world, because oftentimes they're dealing with spouses, they're dealing with friends, they're dealing with coworkers, and especially, sadly, they're dealing with family who doesn't care and doesn't give that support. And like I always say, the greatest support you can give to a chronic pain person is just listening, letting them talk about it, giving them the attention that they hunger and starve for. Because with pain, it makes you feel so alone. But if you hurt and someone else goes there and they know you hurt, just having that relatability, being able to talk with that other person makes all the difference. So back to Johnny. It was breaking my heart and making me cry, the whole situation. I know I hurt. I know I go through it daily. The fact that there are others who have to deal with pain breaks my heart. This was all going on in the 3 or 4 blocks it takes me to get home. Because we as humans, when we see suffering, we want to move and assist. We want to help. This is a blessing. It is a call to action to make something happen. And in this case, with Johnny and others I have gone to the assistance of, it just means to go and be with them. I don't arrive with 20 cliches I read in a book somewhere. I don't arrive and tell them to tough it out and leave in 5 minutes when I feel like I did some quick job. Sometimes you have to deny yourself and become the support and presence that people need when they are lost and alone in darkness and racked with pain. I looked up that word because I've often heard it used, and Ray Charles uses it when he's singing about people who were racked with pain. The song is called Old Man River. Cause extreme physical or mental pain to. Subject to extreme stress. He was racked with guilt. This is a great way to explain it. When I looked at Johnny and I heard his story, I would say it fit him well that he was racked with pain and the sorrow of not only having to walk in it, but everything it had done to his family, has done, is doing to his family. I'm not saying that with a certainty, but as a married man myself who has walked in chronic pain for the past several years, I can say it affects your life greatly, you and your spouse. I mean, I can't speak absolutely for everybody out there, but in my marriage, it's created great obstacles and issues. I've often told people if I didn't have chronic pain, it seems like our marriage would be a breeze because other stuff is so insignificant that just my limitations put a hold on a lot of things. So it's a huge challenge. Only a special spouse can put up with everything you're going through to continue to be a caregiver for those who cannot help themselves. I'm so grateful to my beautiful wife who helps me with all my issues and pains. She is a wonderful person who I can only strive and try to emulate. I often do. And I often think, how would my beautiful wife act in this situation? And I try to be like her, because her patience and her gentleness and her kindness are monumental for me. And they are something that I would like to follow after the example of, because I am so the opposite of that. A lack of patience and the irritability and the aggression and the anger and frustration and rage. I treasure humility and kindness and gentleness and respect and love. But it's hard to walk in those things when you're hurting. It just is. It's a huge patience. I mean, it's a huge challenge. I plan to stay in touch with and visit Johnny. I told him I can't find a local pain support group, but if he would be interested, I would let him know if I started one. He said, yeah, that he was interested. We need each other, truly. Just knowing that there are others who deal with this and also hurt and go through the same stuff as us. I recently reached out to Dina and she said she was no longer with Johnny. I suppose she gave up. I don't know because I asked no further and I didn't want to pry when she told me that. It is no easy life living in support of the hurting. The truth is that there are those who hurt and need support, and this is why I started this channel, to support and to be a voice for the hurting. If we isolate, we can spiral down to worse and worse places. And big surprise, more pain. We have to stick together, and that's what this channel is all about. Just something out there to plug into, to know that there's something to look forward to, even if it's just me talking about pain, talking about other people, talking about situations of pain. And I hear these stories and I have to share them because to me, it's gold to know that there's other people who hurt. Not the fact that they're hurting and I rejoice in that, just to know that I'm not alone. So thanks for your time, team. Godspeed and stay in the fight. It ain't over yet.